Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie and this is the week 45, November the 3rd through the 9th weekly wrap up. As I said, this is week 45's weekly wrap up that ran from November the 3rd through the 9th. This week I participated in romanceopolyathon, and that actually ran from the 4th through the 10th. Um, I always change my dates for readathons because people like to go from Monday to Sunday, and my week runs from Sunday to Saturday. So that's just how I roll. But for this readathon, you were supposed to finish off your board or get to the spaces that you haven't gotten to, and I think I did a pretty good job. I got a couple of them in. Make sure that you are subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check the description box. You can always time jump to see books that you want to see, and things like that. I started a Patreon. Make sure you go over there and check things out because there are a lot of things coming up here in the near future. I went to a couple of events and I have some swimming stuff that's going to be over there, and I am possibly starting a new project over there. So yeah, make sure that you are checking out that Patreon. It's just a donation. It's monthly, and it's just a small pennies to help me out, support me in making content for this channel as well as over there, and get to know me a little bit better. So let's get into what I read last week. I started off the week finishing Between Now and Heartbreak, which is Forever #2 by Dylan Allen. I place this in new adult. Whew, I give this book 4.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read it as an arc, and this is a Black author. This is the continuation or the middle portion of Elizabeth and Carter's story. I can't really go into what this portion is about. Just know that it is mind-blowing and it's crazy. So many new twists and turns. I did DM freaking Dylan and was like, what are you doing? I don't know if I can handle all these twists and turns. This one ends on an even bigger cliffhanger, for waiting for book number 3, which comes out in December, I believe it is. And I need some answers. This middle portion really shows the strength of Elizabeth and Carter as individuals and what they need to go through and how they're going through things. And it was just amazing. And I need the answers to their story. It actually makes me want to go back and read the novella that started this obsession with Elizabeth and Carter, but I'm gonna hold off because it's their novella after everything is all done and said for and things like that, and I want to get to that happily ever after again when I get there, but I need a little bit of happy right now with this couple because right now they've ripped my heart out. Just so much. The next book that I finished was Text Me Baby One More Time, which is texting #4 by Teagan Hunter. I place this in new adult. I give this book 5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook. She is a Polycon 20 and 20 author that will be there. I also saw her this weekend at Indies Invade Philly. She is so delightful and just such a sweetheart. Really just so cool. So cool. Loved it. If you want to see more footage of me and Teagan, make sure that you go over and check on the Patreon because I will have a vlog up from this weekend. And this book follows Shep, who is a brother to one of our characters that we have already met. He was such a douchebag in this when he was a secondary character, when he was the brother in the book that he featured or that he was mentioned in. And this is sort of his explanation of why he was a douchebag in those, in that situation. And you just felt for him because him and Denver have this relationship that they had when they were in high school, and then you sort of get to see it unfold and with flashbacks and a little, some things that are going on right now. And their two best friends wanted to get married when they were in high school, and now that they're out of high school and in college, they had Denver and Shep had this like love-hate relationship, and it was just so good. It was so good. There are pop culture references to Bucky and Captain America, and it was just so sweet and swoony and funny, and just I had my heart just all sorts of ways, and I just loved every single moment of it. And I really, really enjoyed this audiobook for it because it was so good. It was just so good. The next book that I read was A Pizza Mahata, Slice Number 1 by Teagan Hunter. I place this in New Adult. I give this book 4 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read it on audiobook, and as I said earlier, Teagan is a Polycon 2020 author, and I met her at Indies Invade Philly. This also fulfilled my challenge for romanceopolyathon. See if I can get that out. For the Uptown, which is to read a foodie or chef novel. And in this, you have Ren and Foster, who one was the brother's best friend, and the other is the daughter of a pizzeria owner. And the two of them had they had like a connection when they were younger. And then all of a sudden, Foster goes off, gets married, and just pop smoke. And Ren is like, what? You just up and leave? You leave our friendship? And, even though I was sort of harboring feelings for you, I didn't want to buy into that. Foster had always had feelings for Ren, but could never say anything because that's my little brother's, that's my best friend's sister. So I can't, touch that with a 10-foot pole and, things like that. So, yeah. I really enjoyed this. I can't remember what turned me off about it. It was the narrator. The male narrator. Granted, Foster, the character, moved to California. He only spent 4 years in California. I don't think your accent changes that much. And the whole California accent vibe thing just was not working for me. I was like, no. Just turned my little ears off, and I was just like, oh, can this be over with? But I did like the premise of the story, and I can't wait to get to the other books in this series. The next book that I read was My Brother's 5 Friends by Vivi Hamel. This is a reverse harem novella, erotic novella, and I give it 3 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I read it on an ebook. It's non-traditional. It's the whole woman with multiple men, but they're not together. It was strange for me. Usually I'm here for these type of stories. I've had this book on my Kindle for a while, or in my Kindle library for a while, because obviously it got to like 28% in the novel on the ebook, and the story was done. And then there's 2 other stories within this Kindle bundle. This is probably came out before Amazon started to really like ratchet down on authors bundling their books without saying they're a bundle. So yeah, I mean, it was super slow. Read my notes. Super slow. It had the sex scene sort of fell flat. It was just like, yeah. It was mostly a tease. The next book that I finished was Hot Single Dad, Book Boyfriend number 3 by Claire Kingsley, and I give this book 4 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it on audiobook, and this is an age gap story. So you have Caleb, who is the brother to a couple of the characters that we met in the other book boyfriend or other book boyfriend books that we've or that I already read. And he is a single dad, so he has a daughter. His wife ends up getting killed in an accident. Not a spoiler, you already know this going into it. And Leanna, I think that's, yeah, Leanna is the dead wife's sister that ends up getting pressure to come and nanny for him so that, you know, he has more time and freed up time. Um, yeah, I can't get this one out. But and so that the daughter has a more comfortable person rather than just a nanny. So when Leanna comes, she is a piano prodigy who's looking to kind of break out of the shell of her parents and things like that. They have huge aspirations for her, and the two of them end up, you know, liking each other, and they feel like it's sort of taboo in a way or forbidden because hello, that's my dead sister's husband that I'm lusting after, and that's my dead wife's sister that I'm lusting after. I enjoyed it. Um but yeah. Ah. The next book that I finished was Legacy: The League of Illusions #1 by Vivi. And I place this in steampunk. I give this book 3.5 stars. I give it 2.5 steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook. This fulfilled my steampunk space of London Street for romanceopolyathon. And whew, yes, got it done. So we got magic, we have a missing brother, we have seers, we have druid seekers, a black sheep magician, and lots of craziness, a power struggle within the league for who's going to head up their wizarding sort of world and things like that. It was very entertaining. I went on to the next book as well, and you'll hear about that in a couple minutes. But before that, I finished The Plus Ones by Kayley Loring, and I placed this in rom-com. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 4 steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook. It was at the request of a PR company to listen to the audiobook. I really enjoyed this. I listened to this on my way to Indies Invade Philly, and I found myself laughing. I had 3 hours there, 3 hours back. It didn't take the full 6 hours to listen to this audiobook. And, you know, in this book, we have Roxy and Keaton, who are the single people in a friend group of 8. So the other 6 people are coupled up and they're together, they're married, they're starting families and things like that. And then you have Roxy and you have Keaton. Well, Roxy and Keaton end up making out during one of those couples' wedding. And then you jump 5 years later and, you know, they're still sort of processing that whole kiss thing where they felt the sparks, and, you know, they're processing their lives on what they want out of it. And Keaton is the first one to be like, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling feelings for you. So I'm going to need you to, you know, do the thing. So the couples, the 6 people, the 3 couples of the group ended up reserving a couples retreat. And then one of the couples ended up having to go to a, you know, family vacation instead. So Keaton and Roxy end up fake dating, fake coupling to go with their friends to the couples retreat. And they start to figure out that, you know, feelings are mutual and there's lots of sexual tension that's going on there. There's loads of pop culture references that are so beautifully placed. I found myself laughing and really relating to these 2 characters, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a great listen for that trip. The next book that I finished was Prophecy, which is The League of Illusion #2 by Vivi, and I place this in steampunk. I give this one 3.5 stars. I give it 3 steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook, and this one follows Reese and Karina, who is an illusionist and a illusionist and a psychic in this coupling, and they're still looking for that lost brother, but this is like the next part and the next couple that is moving on and things like that. This one does leave on a bigger cliffhanger than the last one did, but this one is just like, okay, so now we know sort of where the dynamic is. There's an evil guy, and yeah, yeah, that's where we're at. It's real simple. It's very mechanically, you know, steampunky. It's just, yeah, it was a good short read. The next book that I read was Scent of a Mate, Sassy Mates #1 by Millie Tyndall, and this is a paranormal romance. I give this one 3.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook just for randomness. It's a fated mate story, and you're introduced to this pack, and Eric is the soon-to-be alpha of the pack once his father passes away. He's the oldest brother, and mom and dad are like, my boys need to get married. So this is revolving around Eric, who's the oldest, and his sister's friends. And the one that has been catching Eric's eye, her name is Jordan. And she is this like sassy female. She does have a bit of an issue with body image, and she is a filmmaker or researcher, what have you. So during a scenting event that they have for the pack, they end up videotaping, and her and Eric end up hooking up. It was too quick. It was a little bit unresolved, and Millie, I don't know why she does this or why she's done this in a couple of the books that I've read of hers, but she used the word rape as if it was something sexual, or like sexual in a good way, and I am not here for that. Rape is not sexy in any way whatsoever, and I don't want it in my books. Just period. I mean, no. Then the final book that I read last week was His Mimosa by Jamie Schlosser. Schlosser. This is a novella. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read it on the podcast of Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. And I got to see Tessa and Leah, half of Alexa Riley. So 2/3 of the podcast at Indies Invade Philly. If you go check out the vlog, you'll see pictures of them. And this book follows Carter and Bryn. This was a super fast novella, insta love. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not understanding where the chemistry came in. The only thing that really saved this story for me was the epilogue, where we got to look into their future and how they ended up sort of being together. From what I'm understanding, Carter was this like grumpy guy that doesn't believe in insta love or, love in general. But when he goes to Vegas, for his brother's bachelor party, he ends up getting drunk and then ends up meeting Bryn, and they end up having some sexual times, and the sexual times are hot, but then they like break up or something or another. So yeah, it was weird for me. It was just weird for me. On to what I am currently reading. I am currently reading Sacrifice by N. Isabel Blanca, and this is part of the Sinister Fairy Tale collection, which is a bunch of dark, twisted fairy tale retellings that are coming out. This one comes out this week, so make sure you go check that out. Even though I haven't completely finished it, you will get that review next week. It came to me late, so that's how that rolls. I am also reading Everything's Better with Lisa by Lucy Eden. This one releases November the 25th. The author reached out to me to read this. I absolutely love her illustrated teasers that she has going along with this book, and when she reached out, I was like, yes. I have been eyeballing a lot of her illustrated features that go along with her books, and I'm like, yes. So I went and ended up picking up all of the books in this series and can't wait to really jump into them. I am also reading Heart and Soul by Erin Kinsella, and this was a arc that was provided to me from the author because she liked my style and thought that I would like a book based in South Korea. For you guys that don't know, I was based in South Korea for a little over 2 years, and I really enjoyed my time there. So to revisit the area through fiction is awesome. And this also has a K-pop star, so for you K-pop people, you may enjoy this book. And I'm also reading Open House by Ruby Lang. This is another novella about houses and things like that. I read Ruby's first book a couple months ago and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Okay, so those are all the books that I read last week, what I'm currently reading. I'm sure there will be other books mixed and mingled in there within to this week's categories and things like that. Like I said, if you want to time jump anything, make sure that you check the description box. I will have time stamps down there. I will also have affiliate links for as many of the books as possible. This is no extra charge to you. It just gives me a little change in the pocket. And make sure that you check out the Patreon page that I have started for any behind the scenes things that you guys want to check out about me. It's greatly appreciated when you do donate, and it helps me out. It keeps me going. Support me. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.